Hi, I'm Lucy. I'm an Indigenous person from the Knuckle tribe, which is up on North Stradbroke Island, off the side of Queensland. I studied my Bachelor of Physiotherapy. I chose to study my Bachelor of Physiotherapy because when I was about 12 or 13 years old, my youngest sibling, my brother, was actually in the Royal Children's Hospital for quite a while, and he had a lot of physiotherapy input. So at that point in time, I saw what a physiotherapy job was like, and from then on, I sort of had the idea that I wanted to do something that would help, at that point in time, kids. And yeah, so that was sort of, I knew I wanted to do something helping kids, but yeah, and then I decided, yeah, physio would be good. So the course is a 4-year course. It's made up of, so at Monash University, it's a 4-year course, sort of based around 3 areas. First area is your musculoskeletal area, so that's your typical sports physiotherapy. We're looking at muscles, joints, bones and things like that. The second area is cardiorespiratory, which is based all about the heart and the lungs. And then our third area is the neuro area, so we're looking at the brain, the nervous system, strokes, brain injuries and things like that. So once we had studied all those sort of areas, we also did anatomy and physiology, which blended into all of them. We then completed a 1.5 years of placements after that. So my placements were in Monash Claydon, the Dandenong Hospital, Casey Hospital, and also one in Bairnsdale. I went rurally for 5 weeks, and then I had one at the Alfred as well. Very challenging, the placements were very challenging. Enjoyable. Definitely required a lot of preparation, organisation. You know, you go to your placements. It was essentially a full-time job for a 1.5 years. So I'd be getting to placement usually about 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. I'd be working a normal day, picking up a normal load by the end of it, especially by the end of the 4th year. And then I'd be going home. But instead of going home and being able to relax, I had to do a lot of, uni work on top of that. So I'd be doing problem lists that I would then have to give to my supervisors the next day. So definitely challenging, definitely required a lot of organisation, but really enjoyable because I was given a load that I could organise myself. I was, essentially practising as a physio. My piece of advice is to contact the university that, if you're an Indigenous student, you can contact the Indigenous department at the university. They will then have a person who specifically their job is to help with high school students, and they can hopefully direct you, give you some advice about some, subject selection and things like that, which is what I did at my point where I was, tossing up, is it physio or is it OT? They helped me to decide which specific subjects I needed to do. They sort of, put me in the right direction. So at this university that I went to, which was Monash, they have a big university department for Indigenous students. So support services that I received were scholarships. So it's really important to be aware of the scholarship. If you're not aware, again, contact those people. And we also had tutoring, so I was able to be tutored twice a week. They have funding for that, so don't hesitate to ask. And simple things like being able to catch up with fellow Indigenous students. It might seem little, but we'd go out for coffee, we'd go out for a lunch every now and again. One time I think we went to Luna Park, and it was really fun. It's it's a different side of uni. It's the more enjoyable side. So the most satisfying situation or incident that I experienced was when I was on placement. I was working at the Alfred in the ICU with my heart and lung transplant patients, and there was a girl that I was working with, and she was 18 or 19, so not that much, younger than me, and she had cystic fibrosis, which is a disease in her lungs. So she was definitely on the downward spiral. She was really, really quite ill. She ended up overnight, she found out she had a pair of lungs, and she had the operation that night, and I went in and saw her the next day. She was hooked up to as many drips and drains as you can imagine. She was on a breathing machine. The next day we got her up and standing on the side of the bed. Within that week, we had her walking about 20 metres, which is fantastic for where she was previously. She was on permanent oxygen. So within a couple of days we had her up walking, and I actually left that was my final week. So it was such an enjoyable and pleasing end to all of my placements. So it was really, really good to see, you know, a young girl getting back up on her feet.